and welcome. I'm Richard, and today we're headed to the 21st track on our lap of the world. Now, this is your first time joining us. As the name implies, my goal is to try and drive every road course in the world. Now, with 130-something tracks in the United States alone, we're clearly just getting started. So, it's a great time to subscribe. You're getting on the ground floor, and if you click the bell, you'll get a notification anytime I check another track off the list. Getting to today's adventure, though, it actually takes us just to the other end of my home state of Tennessee, to the land of dry rub barbecue and blues, Memphis. Before I forget, by the time I publish this video, I will have also done the drawing for the 500 subscriber giveaway that I talked about in the last video. So again, thanks again to all you folks that have subscribed and stick around to the end of the video for the results of those drawings. I will also tag you on your post, or in your comment rather, on the previous video where you would have talked about your favorite road course and why, or something similar. So I'll tag your comment, and you can also stick around to the end of this video to see the announcement, and then we'll get in touch regarding the shirt. You can email me at richard@lapoftheworld.com if in fact you are the winner, or you have free things to give me, or you want to sponsor the channel, you know, stuff like that. Anyhow, back to the task at hand. Our specific destination today is Memphis International Raceway, formerly known as Memphis Motorsports Park, if you may have heard about it by that name. And it is something kind of interesting. It actually is, it will be a type of track I've never driven before, which doesn't happen that often anymore. I've driven plenty of standard, dedicated road courses. I've driven a couple of rovals, but I've never driven a combination drag strip road course. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what the Benifer name for that is. Is it, drag course, drag circuit, road strip? I'm gonna quit trying because it's gonna end up dumb, and you guys are gonna make fun of me. So anyway, so the main straight of Memphis International Raceway's road course is Memphis International Raceway's drag strip, which actually hosts some IHRA events, Super Chevy Show, and I think a few other things throughout the year. It may be its most used track in the facility, which is comprised of the drag strip, the road course with the drag strip, and I think it's a half-mile oval. I'll have to double check myself on that. That has at some point in time hosted the NASCAR B Series, I think, the Camping World Truck Series, and what used to be the Nationwide Series. I don't remember what they're calling it anymore. Used to be the Busch Series back in the day. This trip will also be interesting for another reason, because I've got another first here. This will be my first SCCA Track Night in America. Now, if you haven't heard of the Track Night in America program, I don't know. That's if you're interested in doing track days or road course driving. It's been a thing for several years now, but in I guess the geologic time scale, it's relatively recent, being a few years old. And I think it is an interesting attempt for the SCCA at addressing what I kind of used to see as an approachability issues. There were some kind of entry barriers to driving with SCCA at very, very low levels, which is why I ended up opting to drive with NASA when I first started into the road courses and track driving, as opposed to just autocross. The NASA program seemed way more approachable. Now SCCA has gotten this Track Night in America program up and running, which lets you show up to a track with literally no experience, as long as your car is, will pass basic tech inspection, and lets you get out on track for relatively cheap. If you join the SCCA and can provide an SCCA member number, the entry fee is only $125. That's decent value, I think. Does it match up to a full weekend somewhere? Probably not in dollars per minute, dollars per seat minute, but in absolute cost terms, it's about the best you're going to do on a regular basis without finding some, diamond in the rough like I did with the Tidewater folks at NC Car. But anyhow, this should be interesting. I really hope it works because SCCA Track Night America runs at quite a number of tracks that I haven't been to, and a lot of them are within a day's drive, so that will be very useful. This turns out to be fun. It's something I could definitely see myself doing again, but we shall see. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and you will see the rest of the experience as I arrive at the track and get to driving. So I will see you guys in Memphis. The SCCA is taking very seriously the task of making Track Night in America approachable. Signing up was incredibly simple through the dedicated website. I used the interactive map to find the event, then walked through registration, tech, and putting myself in the fastest run group so I could drive flat out. After that, you can even hotlink straight to a Haggerty-sponsored track insurance program through which you get a discount for it being a track night event. The registration and tech inspection process once I arrived at the track was equally simple and straightforward, being facilitated by a bunch of friendly volunteers. Having never been to a track night event before, I was definitely pleased that at no point did I feel like I was confused or unsure of what I should be doing or where I should be at any given point in time. Alright folks, we made it to Memphis International Raceway, and we've done tech, we checked in. I'm now gonna wave by some locals so I don't take anybody off, because I've never been here before, but I'm running in the advanced group. I did a lot of research before coming out, but there is no substitute for experience. So, track on paper looks relatively simple. It's 9 turns and a drag strip. However, that never tells the whole story. There's always some kind of nuance, nuance oddities. And I've been told, for instance, that the transition back onto the drag strip can be kind of interesting because of the again, if you're familiar with drag racing, this will seem obvious to you, but if you're not, they do some surface prep. So they put some sticky stuff on the surface so that the drag cars with thousands of horsepower or whatever can actually get grip off the line. So you end up with this weird stripes of interchangeably super grippy and probably pretty dusty and not grippy pavement between what would be the drag lanes. So that could be interesting. We'll see how it goes. But right now we're just waiting in line to get out on track. So the transition off of the drag strip onto the infield seems like a non-event. Now we're in the infield section, which is a non-event until you get to this, which they're calling the M's. And it is indeed a little like autocross section here. you definitely, which I saw in the videos, you want to give up the first like 2 in order to get the third. And then we're back here. And basically, and then we're into the last little horseshoe here. This almost reminds me of like the, what, turn 17 at Sebring, but you got to come around here and you got to thread a needle. And I'm in third, so I should have no chance of any sort of like wheel spin or lack of grip or anything. Nice engine noise echo off the wall over here. Makes the car sound faster than it is probably. Check the brakes, the first hard braking zone here. Oh yeah, we're good. Dump it in. Now this is on camber here, and you kind of got to come around. Unfortunately, I don't have cones out or anything, but this is flat through here for sure. That's tricky. I don't know, my car is geared pretty well for this track. I seem to be in the power band most places, which is unusual. And it's all these little autocross sections, so it's an issue of being a little careful on these blind, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know the grip level turns, and there's a wall that eats you on the outside there, so that turn, again, I don't know if you can hear me at all, but that last turn, nowhere near as scary in person as it was on paper, but it's probably because you're looking through it instead of at it. Alright, well, having parked and turned the air conditioning back on because it was hotter than advertised today, it was like 50, it was in the 50s anyway when I left Knoxville, and it's definitely pushing 80 here now. But that's one session in the books. It's a fun little track. Definitely on the little side, I think, and only 9 turns. But on the plus side, only having 3 sessions to really horse around and figure things out, it only having 9 turns, I think, is a good thing in this case, because it's real, you know, quick to learn where everything is. Then it's just a matter of picking up on the nuances of some of the trickier turns. And there are a couple. I think the entry and line around turn 1 is definitely going to be kind of car specific, and getting the M's and what they're calling the 90s, which is the as the name implies, 90-degree turn complex after the short chute following the M's, is, you know, there's some nuance to that. Getting your speed right in there, getting your direction change violent enough. It's definitely like an autocross section, and then managing your speed through the last turn with the changing grip levels in that turn, because it is dusty AF on the way in, and then on the way out you have the drag strip prepped surface, which is all of the grip. So as I said, there's some interesting stuff to figure out, but all in all, it's got a fun little track. So I think I'm going to enjoy my my track night here, and anyway, I'm gonna cool off a little bit, get something to drink, and then we'll pick you guys back up for probably a next session here in a minute. Memphis International Raceway, or MIR as I'll refer to it, has had an interesting life. It opened in 1987 and originally included the drag strip and road course combination, along with a dirt track and karting facility. The track was eventually bought out in 1996 and dubbed Memphis Motorsports Park, and construction began on the 3/4-mile paved oval, which opened in 1998, replacing the old dirt track in order to host NASCAR events. Unfortunately, just a decade later, another merger would see the track close for 2 years, before reopening in 2011, rebranded as Memphis International Raceway. Fortunately for Western Tennessee track enthusiasts, its fortunes seem to have fared better since then. MIR's road course is a track of odd proportions. It's only 1.8 miles long, with between 8 and 9 turns depending on who you ask, but it has a 3,500-foot main straight. For reference, I was hitting nearly 140 miles an hour before braking for turn 1, and that's as fast as my peak velocities at Road Atlanta or Road America. Truly, to find a longer straight on a dedicated road course, you have to look at tracks that are twice as long or more. Now having a session under my belt, here's what a mostly competent lap looks like, save for a probably over-conservative entry into the final bend, because walls and consequences. I came off the track for the last time around 7:15, packed up, talked to a few folks, notably a fellow who'd been having way too much fun in his C5 Z06, as well as a couple of gents with a Miata and Civic Type R respectively. I then said thanks to the SCCA staff and headed out in search of some barbecue. A search at which I failed horribly, so on that note, back to the studio to give some stuff away. Well, we've made it back to the garage and the Memphis International pen is in the board, so it's time to announce some winners. And yeah, that's winners plural because reasons, and I'll get to that in here in a second. So what I did was I tossed all the comments that were there into a random comment generator, a random comment picker on the internet. And the first name it pulled was Neuron Bob. So Bob, congratulations, you're going to get a custom Lap of the World t-shirt, a couple of decals. And I hope to see you at NS Expo this year. Bob is a great guy, fellow NSX owner. But there's a caveat. Bob did not follow the rules. The contest was to comment with your favorite road course and why if you felt like it. And Bob left me a comment, and I do appreciate the support as always, but he didn't say his favorite road course. So Bob, you owe me a comment with your favorite road course. In the meantime, though, to make sure I was being egalitarian here, I picked another name. I was like, what's two custom t-shirts, right? So the second person who will get a custom Lap of the World t-shirt is AutoX JMP33. I'm pretty sure I know who you are as well, but maybe I'll see you out at the next event, or I'll stop by wherever you guys are having your weekly East Tennessee region autocross meeting these days. But yeah, let me know. Feel free to get in touch wherever. I think you can get a hold of me on Facebook as well, at Lap of the World, or email me, as I said earlier, at richard@lapoftheworld.com. And we will get you guys hooked up. Thanks again for your support. Thanks everybody for subscribing. Awesome growth this year, and I look forward to the next time. But for now, that was our trip to Memphis International Raceway and our drawing for 500 subscribers. Thanks again. I'm Richard, and this is Lap of the World, and I will see you in the next video, if not at the track.